But the key is the diet, really. It's all about that teen, that protein.
Yeah, creatine, protein, all the teens.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's about how much you bench is in the teens. I'm here with Remington the dog after his big game today for Carolina. Remington, how do you think you played out there today? Wow, hard-hitting analysis from Remington. And the reason UNC fans didn't get to see a tournament game in their own backyard? Bathrooms. A thrilling comeback win for the Carolina women's soccer team. Their revenge tour continues, but they were not the only Carolina Olympic sports team with a great signature win this week. The team plays so well as a team, and you have 5 players who average over 10 points a game and no players who average over 15 points a game. How have you got them all to buy in to playing such an unselfish team game? And I'm 15-time world champion Rivers Upchurch. We have so many critical late-season conference showdowns, it's almost scary.
I'm actually not supposed to tell anybody this, but I take a shower in my Tar Heel jersey. I get it nice and wet, soak it up, and then I wear it. So luckily for you guys, I don't have it on yet, but tonight I will have it on after the game.
All right, well, Ryan's going to be a little wet watching the Tar Heels, but we're very excited. And this next one was the match of the night. Kennedy Monday taking on 3-time All-American David McFadden, and Monday was looking for the pin early in the first. McFadden would escape, but before too long, Kennedy Monday put him right back down on his back. Another 4 points for a near fall, and Monday was too much for McFadden to handle. Third period now, and Monday looking for a tech fall, and he gets it. A technical fall in wrestling, rarely seen, is only awarded when one wrestler is winning by 15 points. And Kennedy Monday mercy rules Virginia Tech's All-American. Seven days ago, the North Carolina basketball team won its 6th national championship. But for the first time in 60 years, the Tar Heels' path to the championship did not go through their home state. And the reason UNC fans didn't get to see a tournament game in their own backyard? Bathrooms. Carolina fans like senior Austin Raines were disappointed when the NCAA stripped North Carolina's ability to host games over the bathroom bill HB2.
Kind of irritated. I know Greensboro lost so much money just from not having any games played there from the ACC tournament. I know for the NBA, going to the NBA, I know whenever they said we're not going to have our All-Star game in Charlotte, I was actually planning on going to that game.
And Raines had been going to games all season long, a top 40 member of Carolina Fever, but he didn't get to relive one of his favorite memories, watching UNC play in the NCAA tournament.
Some pretty nice seats, like about a couple rows back from the press box and everything, and it was awesome. I loved it. It was in Greensboro, and it was packed.
2 weeks ago, the General Assembly passed House Bill 142 to repeal HB2 under pressure from the NCAA. But some, like UNC College Republicans Chair Will Ryerson, don't approve of the new law.
So the NCAA definitely tried to act as a lobbying organization, and you can easily say that they tried to blackmail North Carolina.
But it's not just conservatives who aren't happy with HB 142. Julie Eiselt, a Democrat on the Charlotte City Council which created the ordinance that sparked HB 2, says the compromise on HB 142 was only for the sake of saving basketball in North Carolina.
Across the state, other cities, well, really Greensboro, Raleigh, probably, and the business community all over was saying, hang on now we lost basketball and we're a basketball state.
Though politicians may not like HB 142, sports fans like Raines are happy to have tournament basketball back in the Tar Heel state.
As far as the sports goes, I think it was the right move because now it's going to bring those sports right back in, and hopefully it will be smooth sailing. We can kind of wipe this underneath the bridge and move on from it.
Tournament basketball is back in North Carolina, and for sports fans, that's something worth celebrating. For Carolina Week, I'm Rivers Upchurch. He can speak. He can fist bump. He can even open the fridge, get your water, and close the fridge again. And he's the newest member of the Carolina baseball team. Meet Remington, a service dog helping the team, who junior Brian Miller says has some game of his own.
I started throwing his ball off that trampoline just one day, and he loves it. So I'll stand back here, and I'm going to try him out in the outfield next year maybe.
He'll take the balls out till we go meet the umpires, and then he'll sit in there and chat with them for a while. They just pet him.
That's Terry Joe Rasinski, Remington's handler, describing what game day is like for Remy.
He'll help me take water out to the umpires. And he's in his crate in the back hallway during the game because it's not safe in the dugout for him.
Terry Joe and Remington were matched up through a program called Paws for People.
The Paws for People is a foundation that raises, trains, and places assistance dogs with children, veterans, military dependents, and civilians living with disabilities.
I got the chance to sit down with Carolina baseball's newest star. I'm here with Remington the dog after his big game today for Carolina. Remington, how do you think you played out there today? Wow, hard-hitting analysis from Remington. In Chapel Hill, I'm Rivers Upchurch. Since the day Brett Clark and Robert Kelly were paired together, they knew their games would be a great match on the court.
We play pretty similarly, so the transition was probably easier than it usually is when you switch partners. So that worked really well, and I think our success on the court has shown that.
After a stellar first season together, their bond off the court was what made this duo special.
We've become so close that we can kind of be at a dinner with people or be in a group, and when someone says something, we kind of give each other a look and we know exactly what the other one's thinking and kind of just smile. And no, it's a really cool relationship.
I know we were talking over winter break when we hadn't seen each other for a while. It was like a weird feeling because it seemed like we spent every day together because it was really mostly us two traveling together. So it was kind of weird not being with them for a while.
As their friendship has grown stronger, Kelly and Clark have learned to trust one another when the pressure is on.
If I say that he's going off the rails, that means he is going off the rails, instead of being like, look, man, you focus on yours, I'll focus on mine. We kind of have this cool relationship where we can tell each other when we're not meeting expectations.
I decided to put their knowledge of each other to the test with a round of the newlywed game. Robert, what is Brett's favorite food?
I mean, this could depend when and where. I'm gonna go with chicken parm. No? Nuggets? Chipotle. Oh my goodness!
Space out on you.
Oh, that's bad.
That is bad.
That's bad. He has like coupons, like $300 worth of coupons to Chipotle.
We now bring in basketball analyst Rivers Upchurch live in studio to help break down the ACC Championship and the first weekend of March Madness. Rivers?
Thanks, Kelly. Now, 2 weeks ago, Carolina fans were wondering if the team would be able to parlay the emotion of the big win at Cameron into any kind of postseason success. 3 nights in D.C. and a couple of cut-up nets later, and the undisputed ACC champion Tar Heels were suddenly the third most popular choice to win the NCAA tournament. Now, Carolina came out very flat in the first half against Florida Gulf Coast. Here you see some good ball movement from the Eagles as they end up with an open jumper to make it only a 3-point game. But Carolina picked up the intensity in the second half, and at the end of the day, it was just too much. Bryce Johnson. He finished with 18 points, 7 boards, and 8 blocks as Carolina cruised to a 16-point win. Now, that win made a little bit of history for old Roy. Coach Williams is now 26-0 in the first round of March Madness. That's the most ever wins without a loss in the first round of the tournament, and that's absolutely remarkable, especially considering how many upsets we've seen just in this first weekend alone. Now, the Heels started slow against Florida Gulf Coast, and they did the exact same thing against Providence. Here you see the circus shot by Cartwright, plus the foul from Nate Britt to give Providence the lead late in the first half. Maybe it was the late start time, I don't know. But the Heels are going to be in big, big trouble if they come out that flat against Indiana. Carolina was able to right the ship in the second half, though, and stop me if you've heard this before, but there was just too much Bryce Johnson. And I love the celebration from Joel James. That's right, Joel. He was eating. Feed the big dog. Carolina is headed back to the Sweet 16. Now with those wins, Roy has now passed Carolina legend and his own personal mentor, Dean Smith, for the second most NCAA tournament wins of all time. In classic Roy style, though, when someone asked him about the record, he replied, "I'm nowhere near the coach that he is." Now this team has been giving me some flashbacks lately. Let me tell you about those. Carolina has the best big man in the country in Bryce Johnson, an athletic freak coming off the bench in Isaiah Hicks, and a very reliable backcourt leader in Marcus Page. And who does that remind me of? The 2005 national champions, Sean May, Marvin Williams, and Raymond Felton. Tar Heel fans will remember them for helping Roy win his first ever national championship 11 years ago in April. But what's almost scary is the number of similarities between 2016 Bryce Johnson and 2005 Sean May. Both averaged 17 points per game, 10 rebounds per game. They were both second-team AP All-Americans, and at the end of the year, Sean May was named the Final Four's most outstanding player. Perhaps that lies in Bryce Johnson's future. But here's where the comparison gets really scary. Sean May was left off the 2005 first-team AP All-America team for a 7-foot Australian center for Utah named Andrew Bogut. Bryce Johnson was left off the 2016 first-team All-America AP team for a 7-foot Austrian center for Utah named Jakob Poeltl. Coincidence? I think not.